People gonna talk about you regardless, so just give me something to talk about for real. In all reality, when I die, I want people to be like, she was a legend at that hair. And I want my daughter to be like, my mother was that on the head tip, period.
This is Destiny Harrison, a 21-year-old famous hairstylist, business owner, and young mother from Baltimore, Maryland, who was shot dead inside her own salon for revenge. On the evening of December 21st, 2019, at 6:12 p.m., the Baltimore police rushed Madame D Beauty Bar on 241 North Milton Avenue in Baltimore after reports of a shooting. When officers arrived, Destiny was found inside her business, suffering from a gunshot wound to the head. She was pronounced dead at the scene. Just hours earlier, she had been doing what she always did, working, serving clients, and building the future she had worked for since her teens. But this was not a random act of violence. Only 12 days earlier, Destiny had been beaten, robbed, and threatened in that same salon. She reported it. She pressed charges. She told the court she feared for her life. But just when she thought that she was safe, someone came back. What happened inside that beauty shop would expose how protection orders fail, how silence shields killers, and how doing everything right still wasn't enough. But before we get to that night, we have to go back to who Destiny Harrison was and why her warning should have never been ignored. This is the life and death of Destiny Harmon. Destiny Shawn Harrison was born on April 16, 1998 in Baltimore, Maryland, into a family rooted in the city she would later come to represent so proudly. Long before her name would be spoken in vigils, news reports, and pleas for justice, Destiny was known simply as a driven young woman with a clear sense of who she was and where she was headed. Those closest to her described her as focused, ambitious, and deeply family-oriented. Destiny was raised in a supportive environment that emphasized responsibility, independence, and perseverance. Her mother, Raquel Harrison, played a central role in her upbringing, particularly in encouraging Destiny's early interest in beauty, creativity, and self-employment. Even before she became a mother herself, Destiny was already thinking in terms of legacy, of building something that would last and matter. She wasn't chasing attention or shortcuts. From a young age, Destiny understood that success required discipline, long hours, and consistency. That mindset would shape every major decision she made as she moved into adulthood. Destiny received her primary and secondary education in Baltimore City schools, where she was regarded as a serious and goal-oriented student. Rather than drifting through adolescence, she gravitated early toward a concrete career path, cosmetology, where she could combine creativity with entrepreneurship. She later enrolled at Mergenthaler Vocational Technical High School, or MERVO, a school known for preparing students with practical, career-ready skills. There, Destiny earned her cosmetology license, setting herself apart from many of her peers by graduating with both academic credentials and professional certification. Her time at Mervo was pivotal. It wasn't just where she learned how to do hair, it was where she learned how to think like a businesswoman. She took her training seriously, attended additional classes, and sought mentorship from established stylists in the Baltimore area. She wasn't content with just knowing the craft, she wanted to understand the industry. That drive led her to continue her education at Bowie State University, where she majored in business administration with a minor in fashion design. Even while enrolled in college, Destiny never slowed down. She balanced classes, work, and entrepreneurship with a level of discipline uncommon for someone her age.
People gonna talk about you regardless, so just give me something to talk about for real. In all reality, when I die, I want people to be like, she was a legend at that hair and I want my daughter to be like, my mother was that on the head tip, period.
While many young adults were still deciding what they wanted to do, Destiny was already doing it. She worked part-time at Victoria's Secret while attending Bowie State, managing her schedule with precision. At the same time, she launched Madame D Collection, an online hair venture that allowed her to begin building a client base and brand recognition well before opening a physical location. Destiny's approach to work was methodical. She studied other successful stylists, learned from senior professionals, and absorbed lessons about branding, customer service, and presentation. She invested time into photo shoots, promotional videos, and social media, not for vanity, but for visibility. She understood that in the beauty industry, visibility was currency. By February 2019, that vision materialized into something tangible. Madame D Beauty Bar, located on North Milton Avenue in East Baltimore. Opening a salon at just 20 years old was no small achievement. Destiny didn't inherit the business, she built it from the ground up. Her success became visible, clients came steadily, her work spoke for itself. She reportedly purchased a fire engine red Mercedes, a milestone she was openly proud of, not as a flex, but as proof that her discipline was paying off. But Destiny's life wasn't defined by work alone. In 2018, Destiny was in a relationship with her boyfriend, Dante King. The relationship unfolded during a period when Destiny was juggling education, work, and growing ambitions. Like many young couples, they were navigating adulthood together, learning responsibility in real time. Then, in March 2018, Destiny discovered she was pregnant. That moment marked a turning point, not a pause, but an acceleration. Even though her relationship with Dante did not work out, she embraced motherhood. Those close to Destiny say she embraced pregnancy with intention rather than fear. She planned carefully, remained focused on her goals, and prepared for motherhood with the same seriousness she applied to her business. Her relationship during this time appeared stable and supportive. They hosted a baby shower, shared moments publicly, and spoke about the future with optimism.
It's a girl.
Destiny didn't abandon her dreams, she reorganized them. She continued attending classes, she kept working, she kept building her brand. Motherhood for Destiny was not an obstacle, it was an extension of purpose. In 2018, Destiny gave birth to a daughter named Dream, a name that reflected exactly what that child represented. Dream became the center of Destiny's world. She structured her days around providing for her child while still showing up fully for her clients. Even at the salon, Dream was often nearby, a quiet but powerful reminder of why she worked so hard.
You take my pain away.
By the time Dream turned 1, Destiny had already achieved what many people twice her age were still chasing: financial independence, a growing business, and a clear sense of direction. By late 2019, Destiny Harrison stood at a rare intersection of youth and accomplishment. She was already a licensed cosmetologist, a college-educated entrepreneur, a salon owner, a mentor to aspiring beauticians, and a recognizable figure in Baltimore's beauty community. And she was doing it all while being a single mother. Her social media presence reflected this success. She had a strong local following, high engagement, and real influence among clients and fellow stylists. She was visible, confident, and unapologetic about celebrating her progress. But visibility can come at a cost. On December 10, 2019, Destiny would witness an incident that would tragically change everything for her. That day, Destiny walked into Madame D Beauty Bar expecting another ordinary workday. Instead, she was met with a violation that cut far deeper than stolen merchandise. Inside her salon, her livelihood, her safe space, she found 2 neighboring individuals actively stealing hair bundles, inventory she relied on to keep her business afloat. The loss was immediate and significant, estimated between $3,000 and $4,000. But the theft was only the beginning. What happened next would permanently change how Destiny viewed her own safety. When Destiny confronted them, the situation escalated quickly and violently. She wasn't just threatened, she was physically restrained, held down, beaten, and stomped inside the very space she had built from the ground up. This wasn't a misunderstanding, not a minor dispute. It was a brutal assault, carried out in her own salon with people who knew exactly where to find her. And as the suspects fled with her merchandise, Destiny was left with more than injuries. She was left with a realization she couldn't ignore. Destiny understood immediately that this was something she couldn't brush aside. She didn't minimize it. She didn't try to handle it quietly. She did not remain silent. Instead, she went straight to the authorities. She filed a police report, pressed charges, and spoke directly to a court commissioner, putting her fear into words that would later feel hauntingly prophetic. She even said that she was afraid for her life and for her business. But what she revealed next added a chilling layer to her fear. During that process, Destiny disclosed that one of the suspects had a violent background, a detail that transformed the incident from a simple theft into something far more dangerous. This wasn't just about stolen hair bundles anymore. It was about proximity, access, retaliation. Destiny wasn't speculating, she was warning them, and she backed that warning with action. As a result of her report, the individuals involved were formally charged with assault, theft, and burglary. But Destiny didn't stop there. Understanding that legal consequences alone might not be enough, she took an additional step to protect herself. On December 19, 2019, a peace order was officially issued against the male suspect. Though the identity of the suspect was never publicly announced, the order against him was nothing but clear. He was to have no contact with Destiny, and he was to stay away from her salon. On paper, it looked like protection, but paper has never stopped a bullet. This moment is critical to understand because it defines the true nature of Destiny's relationship with the people believed to be connected to her death. There was no romantic involvement, no personal intimacy, no jealousy between lovers. What existed between them was far more dangerous. It was accountability. Destiny has done what victims are told to do. She reported violence. She trusted the system. She sought legal protection. And in doing so, she made it clear that she would not be intimidated into silence. But standing your ground can come with consequences, especially when the people you stand up to already know where you work, when you're there, and how to reach you. And just days later, Destiny's worst fear would come true. Because only 12 days after the assault, despite the charges, despite the peace order, despite her explicit warning that she feared for her life, someone walked back into Madame D Beauty Bar. On the evening of December 21st, 2019, everything came down to a devastating conclusion. That Saturday evening began like so many others at Madame D Beauty Bar. Destiny was doing what she always did, working, serving clients, managing her business, and balancing motherhood all at once.
Oh, mwah. Mwah. No.
The salon was open, customers were inside, and nearby, her 1-year-old daughter, Dream, was present, close enough for Destiny to keep an eye on her while continuing her work. It felt routine, predictable, and safe, but that sense of normalcy would not last. Because just when it seemed the legal steps she took had bought her some peace, someone walked into the salon, with no other plan but to end her life. Police say the individual entered Madame D Beauty Bar while Destiny was still inside with customers present. There was no prolonged confrontation, no warning, no chance to react. A single gunshot rang out. Destiny Harrison was shot in the head, inside her own business, in front of witnesses, in the very place she had built to protect her future. And in a detail that continues to haunt this case, her daughter was there. As chaos erupted inside the salon, Destiny lay mortally wounded. And at around 6:12 p.m., emergency responders were called and police flooded 241 and Milton Avenue in Baltimore. The same space once filled with hair dryers, conversation, and ambition was suddenly overtaken by flashing lights and crime scene tape. The transition was instant and irreversible.
21-year-old salon owner murdered in her own shop over the weekend. Tonight, we learned that she was afraid for her life. WMAR2 News' Abby Isaacs explains what court documents show. Abby.
Megan, 12 days before she was shot in the head at her beauty shop, Destiny Harrison filed charges against a couple who she said beat her and stole from her. Shot and killed in her Southeast Baltimore beauty salon Saturday evening. Just 12 days before her murder, Harrison said she was attacked in her salon when she confronted burglars. She wrote in a complaint that she found her neighbors inside, stealing hair bundles that she sells. When she tried to stop them, the couple beat her and took off with $3,000 worth of merchandise. She wrote, quote, "I'm scared for my life and business," end quote. They're now charged with assault, theft, and burglary. Police have not arrested anyone for her murder. They say there were other people inside at the time of the shooting and hope someone comes forward with information.
Destiny was pronounced dead at just 21 years old, and everything happened with multiple witnesses watching the tragedy happen. Meanwhile, the suspect was already nowhere to be seen, so no one was taken into custody to take accountability for what just happened that night, despite how many were there. And yet, despite that, the trail would begin to go cold almost immediately. As detectives started piecing together the timeline, the connection to the earlier assault became impossible to ignore. The murder occurred just 12 days after Destiny reported being beaten and robbed, just 2 days after the peace order went into effect, just days after she told the court she feared for her life. The timing was tight, too tight to dismiss. But timing alone does not secure justice. And that silence, more than anything else, would become the most frustrating obstacle in the case. Meanwhile, Destiny's daughter, Dream, was removed from the scene and temporarily placed in Child Protective Services custody. Within a short time, she was released into the care of Destiny's mother, Raquel Harrison, a grandmother now grieving her child while preparing to raise her grandchild. A life stolen and a future rewritten overnight. Now, despite repeated public pleas from police, no witnesses came forward to identify the person who pulled the trigger. Tips were scarce, statements were limited, and as days turned into weeks, the silence surrounding the case only deepened.
She was my heart, all of us. Love her greatly. Just can't believe it.
A new mother, a loving daughter and niece, a beloved business owner.
Wonderful girl, entrepreneur, a go-getter. As you can see, she built this from the ground up. Evil soul would do something like that whatsoever. To do this to a princess young lady who doesn't harm anyone, love everyone, it's senseless. Everybody gotta know something. Please come forward. You need to get these demonic souls here. They need to pay for their crime. There's no doubt about that. In the name of Jesus, there's no doubt.
It wasn't a lack of evidence holding the case back, it was fear. Baltimore police continued to insist that the case was solvable. Investigators acknowledged publicly that someone knew something, that the truth existed within the community. So in an effort to get any information they could, Baltimore police announced that a reward would be offered for information leading to an arrest. It was a clear acknowledgement of what investigators already knew. The answers weren't missing, they were being withheld. The reward, reported to be up to approximately $8,000, was intended to break through fear, loyalty, and the so-called no-snitch culture that had stalled the investigation. Police stressed that tips could be anonymous, urging anyone with even the smallest detail to come forward. Someone had seen something. But despite the incentive, the case came to a halt. No tip came in. Months passed, then years, and still no arrests. As of today, Destiny Harrison's murder remains an open and unsolved homicide. No suspects have been publicly named, no one has been charged, no one has been held accountable for the life taken inside Madame D Beauty Bar that night. The case has not been closed, but it has grown cold. And while the justice system struggled to move forward, Destiny's family was forced to do something far harder, move forward without her. In the days after her death, the entrance to Madame D Beauty Bar transformed into a place of mourning. Balloons, flowers, candles, and handwritten messages covered the storefront. The same doorway Destiny once unlocked each morning with pride became a symbol of loss for an entire community. This was no longer just a crime scene, it was a memorial. Destiny's funeral was held in Baltimore, surrounded by family, friends, clients, and community members who came to say goodbye to a young woman whose life had been cut short far too soon. Her service was not marked by celebrity or spectacle, but by grief, unbelief, and unanswered questions.
The entrance to the Madame D Beauty Bar, surrounded with balloons and candles. Just days before, the same area closed off with police tape and cruisers. This is where Destiny Harrison was shot and killed while she was working.
She with me, she ain't going nowhere.
Raquel Harrison is Destiny's mom.
Destiny just was a sweet person. She was ambitious. She just wanted to do what she loved. She wanted to do hair and be a mother.
Destiny was a new mother and the owner of the salon where she was gunned down.
It's unbelievable, you know, we didn't expect nothing like this to happen, you know. I mean, she's in her own shop doing what she's supposed to do, you know, living an honest life, her own business, and then bam, here goes something like this. You know, it's nonsense.
Shelly Williams says her cousin has been doing hair since she was a little girl.
She had a lot of clout with hair. She was real good with hair.
Family and friends spent the night sharing memories.
Is in the will of God.
As they try to get through this difficult time.
A struggle, a real big struggle. Struggling with my emotions, about thinking about my poor baby, not seeing her again, about the way she passed.
The family, there for each other and grateful for the support from the community.
It's all love. You know, it means a lot because I know Destiny would feel love and she would feel.
Tonight, Destiny's family honored her life, her legacy, and her success as a business owner and a loving mother.
My daughter with me. She with me. She ain't going nowhere. Everybody keeps saying they're sorry for my loss, and I ain't lost nothing.
She was my first grandchild, and she gave me my first great-grandchild. So you know she was special to me.
The person or people responsible for Destiny's murder have not yet been found. Tonight, her mom asked that if anyone was inside the salon at the time of the shooting, that they please come forward and share that information with police.
It was later reported that Baltimore native and boxing champion Gervonta Tank Davis helped cover funeral expenses, an act that underscored how deeply Destiny's story had reached beyond her immediate circle. For Destiny's mother, Raquel Harrison, the loss was devastating. She did not just lose a daughter, she became a mother again, now raising Destiny's child in her absence. Grief and responsibility collided, leaving no space to slow down or fall apart.
It has been 4.5 years since 21-year-old Destiny Harrison was killed inside of her own hair salon. No one has been arrested for the crime, and as detectives actively investigate, Destiny's mother has a plea for the community. WMER2 News' Jonathan Hunter spoke to Destiny's mom and has her story.
Destiny Harrison was a mom, a business owner, and someone who had her whole life ahead of her. In December of 2019, someone walked into her hair salon and shot her to death. As detectives actively investigate, Destiny's mom says if someone knows anything, to please come forward.
She was bright, she was innovative, she was skilled, smart, beautiful. She was a fashionista.
Raquel Harrison Jones is talking about her daughter Destiny. She says Destiny was a perfect child growing up.
So loving, so kind, always wanting to help others, always wanting to help the community.
But on December 21st, 2019, everything changed. Baltimore police were dispatched to Madam D Beauty Bar on North Milton Avenue. Inside, they found Destiny suffering from a gunshot wound. She was rushed to the hospital where she was pronounced dead. Police believe the suspect or suspects entered the salon and shot Destiny.
It was so many people in the salon that day. Nobody has came forth and said anything.
Prior to Destiny's murder, she feared for her life. She filed charges against a couple who she says beat and stole from her 12 days before her murder. Detectives are investigating the case, but to date, no one has been arrested in connection to her death.
They're actively working. They have some leads, and it's just a waiting game.
Raquel keeps her daughter's memory alive. At the time of Destiny's death, her daughter Dream was just 1 year old. She is now 5 and about to start kindergarten.
I just make sure I keep telling her about Destiny, keep showing her all Destiny's photo shoots, because her creativity was out the roof.
Plus, her legacy is continuing to be honored by the Destiny Harrison Dream Scholarship Fund. The scholarship is awarded to 10 girls every year who are in cosmetology school. For Raquel, she wants her daughter's legacy to live on, but she also wants her daughter's killer to be caught.
I am hoping someone cares enough about her daughter, cares enough about all women, all mothers, all children to step forth and say something.
But Destiny's death did more than fracture one family. It exposed a larger, more uncomfortable truth. Her case became a painful example of how protective orders can fail, how violence can escalate despite warnings, and how silence can protect the guilty more than the innocent. It raised questions about witness cooperation, community fear, and the consequences of retaliation violence, especially against young women who speak up. Yet, even in the face of that failure, Destiny's legacy did not end with her death. In March 2020, Baltimore City Council members Zeke Cohen and Shannon Sneed announced the creation of Destiny Dream Scholarship, established in Destiny's honor. The scholarship was designed to support aspiring cosmetology students, young people walking the same path Destiny once walked. Each year, the Destiny Dream Scholarship provides $1,000 awards to students from Mergenthaler Vocational Technical High School's cosmetology program, the very school Destiny graduated from.
Remembering Destiny Harrison, the mother and business owner who was shot and killed inside of her hair salon last December.
You know, she made this world prettier through hair, nails, and through the heart. And if you want to follow in her path, well, the path is yours through a scholarship. WMAR 2 News' Ray Strickland spoke to the family tonight.
Ray joins us in studio now. So Ray, Destiny's aunt told you that this is something that she really would have wanted, right?
Yes, exactly. She told me Destiny mentored aspiring beauticians, taught cosmetology classes, and always loved to give back. Now her aunt says Destiny will continue to do so, impacting the community with this scholarship. Even though she's gone, her legacy will never die.
By providing scholarships.
Living on through a new scholarship in her honor called the Destiny Dream Scholarship, which will help 5 girls every year start their careers as hairstylists.
This fund will pay for 5 young women from Mervo High School to get their licensing exam, their cosmetology kit.
City Councilman Zeke Cohen helped create the scholarship. His office, with the help from the community, including barbers and beauticians across the city, will be pitching in to get it off the ground. Cohen says the fundraising goal is $5,000, adding winners will receive $1,000 each.
We believe that we are going to transform the pain that our community feels into something powerful.
She's still helping and she's not even here.
The gesture, a powerful one for Ridley and the rest of the Harrison family.
Wonderful, you know, because it's not every day that you have a tragedy and something so wonderful can come out of a tragedy, like giving to young children that's up and coming. You don't see that.
And Harrison's family worked with Councilman Cohen to help make this scholarship a reality. Now, Councilman Cohen says it's a part of the Healing City movement inspired by the Elijah Cummings Healing City Act. Cohen says the scholarship will launch on March 8th. That's when young women can start applying. Kelly?
The funds help cover uniforms, board certifications, and professional beauty kits, removing barriers Destiny herself once worked tirelessly to overcome. Even in death, Destiny was still building something. And today, her daughter, Dream, is growing up without her mother, but surrounded by the love Destiny once poured into the world. And while justice has yet to arrive, Destiny Harrison has not been forgotten. Her name is still spoken, her story still told, her warning still echoes. Because Destiny did everything right, and the question that remains is not what more could she have done, but why wasn't it enough? What do you think about it? Let us know what you think in the comments below. And if you found this story intriguing, please like, share, and don't forget to subscribe for more stories like this.
People gonna talk about you regardless, so just give me something to talk about for real. In all reality, when I die, I want people to be like, she was a legend at that hair. And I want my daughter to be like, my mother was that on the head tip, period.